Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. There's a difference between a man who loves you and a man who's using you. And you better learn how to tell the difference before your heart pays the price. See, people will take as much as you allow. Some men, they don't come into your life to build with you. They come to benefit from you. And if you don't wake up to the signs, you'll be drained emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me real close right now, because I need to talk to you about something that too many people ignore until it's too late. Let's talk about that man who only shows up when he needs something. That man who disappears for days or weeks, sometimes even months, but somehow he always knows exactly when to pop back up. You don't hear from him when life is good for him. You don't hear from him when you're struggling and could use some support. You don't hear from him on the regular just to check on you, just to pour into you, just to see how your heart is doing. No. He only shows up when he's in a bind, when he's lonely, when he's broke, when he needs your comfort, your money, your body, your time, your energy, your attention, your everything. See, some of y'all are dealing with part-time men, but giving them full-time benefits. You're giving your time, your emotions, your love, your care, and even your money to a man who only thinks about himself. He don't want to be with you. He just wants what you give him. He ain't calling because he misses you. He's calling because nobody else picked up. He's not texting because he's thinking about you. He's texting because something fell apart in his life, and now he remembers that you're always the one who answers. That's not a relationship. That's not even a friendship. That's a user and a supplier. And guess what? You're the supplier. You ever notice how when you need something, he's too busy? You call him when you're going through something and suddenly he's tired, he's got too much on his plate, or worse, he doesn't even pick up. But when he's in trouble, when life's beating him down, when he needs a place to stay or someone to vent to or a woman to lay up with, now he's got time. Now he's available. And he says things like, "You always understand me. You're the only one who really gets me." And that might sound sweet, but it's not about you. It's about what you do for him. He sees you as a place to land, not a person to love. Let me be real with you. Some men know exactly who to run to when life gets hard. And some women are so loyal, so giving, so full of love that they keep letting these men back in because they think, maybe this time he's changed. Maybe he finally sees my value, but all he sees is what he can get. Because if he really valued you, he'd show up when he doesn't need anything. He'd call you just to hear your voice. He'd invest in your day, your dreams, your peace, not just drain it when it's convenient for him. Let me tell you something else. When a man truly cares for you, he wants to be a provider, a protector, and a presence in your life, not just a visitor when his own world falls apart. A real man won't use you as his emergency contact while treating you like a stranger the rest of the time. If he disappears when everything is good and only comes back when he's in crisis, he's not in love. He's in survival mode, and you're his safety net. That's not romance, that's manipulation. And let's not pretend like you don't feel it. Deep down, you know when someone's using you. You feel that emptiness after the call ends. You feel that confusion when he vanishes again. You feel that frustration when your kindness gets taken for granted. That's your spirit talking to you. That's your soul warning you. That's your worth trying to rise up inside of you saying, I deserve better than this. You deserve someone who shows up not just in the storms, but in the sunshine, not just when he's in need, but when you are. You deserve consistent love, not convenient attention. So don't let loneliness convince you that scraps are a meal. Don't let sweet words distract you from sorry behavior. Because a man who only comes around when he needs something ain't looking for a partner. He's looking for a lifeline. And baby, you are not a rescue plan. You're a woman worth showing up for every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, let me break something down for you that too many people ignore until they're already neck deep in confusion, heartbreak, and false hope. I'm talking about the kind of man who will give you just enough to keep you around, but not enough to give you security. The man who avoids emotional connection like it's the plague. He doesn't talk about real things. He doesn't open up. He keeps things surface level. He acts interested, but only when it's convenient. You know the type. He'll text you late at night, flirt with you just enough to get you to smile, make you feel wanted, but only in the moment. The moment you start asking about feelings, about future plans, about where this relationship is headed, he gets real quiet. He gets distant. He changes the subject or starts making jokes to dodge the conversation. That's not love. That's not confusion. That's calculated. Because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's keeping you in the gray area, not single, not taken, just stuck. He'll say things like, let's not label it right now, or I just want to go with the flow. And the whole time, the only flow he's going with is the one that benefits him. He doesn't want a title, because a title comes with responsibility, it comes with commitment, it comes with accountability, and he ain't trying to carry any of that. He wants access to your heart, your loyalty, your time, and your body, but he doesn't want to give you security, consistency, or commitment in return. Now, here's the slick part. He'll do just enough to keep your hopes alive. He'll say just enough to make you believe there's potential. But let me tell you something real. Potential without progress is a dead end. You can't build a future on empty promises and delayed answers. If a man can't be emotionally present, if he shuts down every time you ask real questions, if he avoids vulnerability, then what you're in isn't love, it's emotional starvation. And baby, you can't live off crumbs. You deserve someone who's willing to meet you at the heart level. Someone who doesn't just want your presence, but wants to understand your spirit. Some of y'all are out here fighting for someone who wouldn't even fight their own feelings. You're being patient with someone who's not even being honest with you. He's emotionally unavailable, and you're emotionally invested. And that imbalance will wear you down every single day. It'll make you question yourself. It'll make you wonder if you're asking for too much. It'll make you feel needy, clingy, or insecure, when the truth is, you're just asking for the bare minimum of a real relationship. And don't fall for that "I've been hurt before" excuse. We've all been hurt before. Pain is not a pass to play games. If he hasn't healed, he shouldn't be dating. If he's not ready for emotional intimacy, then he shouldn't be taking up space in your life. Love requires transparency. It requires communication. It requires showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. That's what separates men from boys. A real man will sit with the hard conversations. He'll say, I don't have all the answers, but I care about you enough to figure it out with you. A user, he'll vanish the moment things get too deep, then come back like nothing happened, because he's not attached to you emotionally. He's attached to what you provide. So if you keep finding yourself stuck in these cycles where you're confused, where you're unsure about how he feels, where you have to chase clarity, you already have your answer. Because love doesn't leave you guessing. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't run from connection. And you weren't created to beg for emotional scraps from someone who's afraid to open up. You deserve someone who chooses you out loud every single day, not just in the moments when it's easy, but especially when it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something serious today. Let's talk about how you can tell a man is using you, not just by what he takes from you, but by what he refuses to give. One of the clearest signs that a man is using you is this: he never invests in your growth. He doesn't support your dreams, doesn't push you towards your goals, and doesn't care whether you're becoming the woman you're meant to be. He's fine with you staying exactly where you are because your growth doesn't benefit him. And he's not in your life to build, he's in your life to benefit. See, a man who truly loves you is going to pour into you. He's going to celebrate your wins no matter how small. He's going to ask about your day, about what you're passionate about, what you're working on, what makes you come alive. But when a man is using you, he doesn't want you to shine too bright. He doesn't want you to get too strong, too confident, too independent, because the stronger you get, the easier it is for you to walk away. The more you grow, the more you'll realize you don't need him. So instead of watering you, he withholds. He keeps you second-guessing yourself. He distracts you with drama, keeps you emotionally tired, and makes you feel guilty every time you choose yourself. He might act like he's supportive on the surface. He might say things like, "That's great, babe," or "good for you," but there's no real action behind it. He doesn't ask follow-up questions. He doesn't show up to your events, and he definitely doesn't help you make progress. He might even start to mock your ambitions, make jokes when you talk about starting a business, getting a degree, or chasing a dream, That ain't love. That's insecurity. That's control. Because a man who's secure and sincere wants his woman to rise. He wants her to win. He sees her success as a win for both of them, not a threat to his ego. And I don't care how fine he is, how smooth he talks, or how good the chemistry feels. If he's not helping you become a better version of yourself, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-sided setup. You're giving him love, energy, comfort, support, and getting nothing in return but distraction and delays. You're putting your goals on pause, trying to fix or impress a man who wouldn't lift a finger to help you move forward. That's not a partner, that's a parasite. He's feeding off your strength, your kindness, your effort without ever refueling you. Sometimes the reason you feel so stuck, so drained, so uninspired, it's because you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't believe in you. And let's be real, it's hard to fly when someone's clipping your wings. You start doubting yourself. You start shrinking your dreams. You stop bringing things up just to avoid hearing his disinterest or his criticism. That's emotional sabotage, and it's dangerous because you weren't created to live a life of smallness. You weren't born just to serve somebody else's comfort zone. You were meant to grow, to rise, to elevate. And any man who's not pushing you toward that is holding you back. And don't let the "I'm just not into all that stuff" excuse fool you. You don't have to be into it to support it. Love learns how to show up. Love finds ways to be present. A real man might not understand your vision right away, but he'll respect it. He'll say, "I don't get it all, but I'm here for you." He'll encourage you, not ignore you. And most importantly, he'll create space for you to thrive, not take up all the space so you're left trying to squeeze your growth into the crack. So if you're with someone who never asks about your goals, never cheers you on, never encourages your progress, wake up. Because love builds, love elevates. And if he's not investing in your happiness or your growth, he's not loving you. He's using you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into something a lot of people ignore until they're deep in disappointment. One of the most painful and clear signs that a man is using you is this. When life hits you hard, he disappears. He's nowhere to be found when you're going through something. You're crying, hurting, stressed, overwhelmed, and he's silent. You're battling something serious in your life, and he doesn't check in, doesn't show up, doesn't even ask if you're okay. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's a man who wants to enjoy your light, but refuses to sit with you in the dark. See, it's easy to be around when everything's good, when you're happy, laughing, looking good, giving your best self. He shows up, he enjoys the moments when you're pouring into him, when you're strong, when you're handling everything. But let something shift. Let life hit you with a loss, a setback, an illness, a breakdown, and suddenly he's too busy. Suddenly he's not answering his phone like he used to. Suddenly he's got problems of his own. He'll come up with every excuse in the world to avoid being there when it actually matters. And here's the worst part. He'll make you feel like you're asking too much, like your pain is inconvenient, like your needs are too heavy. But that's not on you. That's just a man revealing that he was only in it for what you could offer him when it was easy. He wanted the good times, the fun nights, the benefits, but not the burden of being emotionally present. And I hate to say it, but some men will enjoy everything about you until you become a responsibility, until you need them to step up. Then they're gone. Real love is not about convenience. Real love shows up when it's hard. Real love listens when you're not making sense. It holds your hand when you're falling apart. It checks in, it cares. A man who truly loves you will never leave you alone in your lowest moments. He may not have all the answers, but he'll be there, and sometimes that's all a woman needs, just someone who's willing to sit with her in the storm. You don't need someone who fixes everything. You need someone who refuses to walk away when things break. But a user, he only sticks around when you're doing fine. The moment you stop smiling, the moment your life gets complicated, the moment you can't give as much, he pulls away. And not only that, he'll start making you feel like a burden. He'll act cold, distant, annoyed. He'll make you feel guilty for needing support. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe it. You'll start apologizing for having emotions. You'll start hiding your pain just to keep him around. And that's how emotional damage happens. Slow, quiet, and deep. Let me tell you something important. Your hard times are not too much for the right person. The right man will not run when you cry. He won't vanish when life gets messy. In fact, that's when his character is revealed the most. That's when he shows what kind of man he really is. Because anyone can enjoy you at your best, but someone who truly loves you will love you through the worst. Stop giving your loyalty to someone who won't even give you presents. Stop explaining your pain to someone who's never willing to sit with it. Stop hoping a man will suddenly become dependable when he's shown you time and time again that your struggles aren't his concern, that's not a relationship. That's emotional abandonment, wearing the mask of romance. You deserve someone who sees your pain and doesn't flinch, someone who can handle your silence, your tears, your fears, and still chooses to stay. Because love isn't proven in the sunshine. It's proven in the storm. And if he's not available when life gets real, he's not with you for real. He's using you for your joy, your peace, your strength, but not loving you through your hurt. And that's the difference between a man who wants to grow with you and a man who's just there to gain from you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that too many people overlook because they want to believe love is enough. But let me tell you something. If a man is keeping you a secret, that is not love, that is not respect, that is not a relationship. That's a setup. That's a situation where you're being used behind the scenes while he lives a whole other life out in the open. See, when a man is proud of you, when he's serious about you, when he sees a future with you, he wants the world to know. He's not hiding you from his family. He's not dodging the topic when you ask to meet his friends. He's not making excuses every time a holiday, a birthday, or a special event comes around. A real man brings his woman into his world. He doesn't push her into the shadows and tell her to stay quiet. But when a man is using you, he keeps everything surface level. He'll say things like, I just like to keep my personal life private, or I don't mix my relationship with family or friends. Sounds mature, right? But don't fall for it. Privacy and secrecy are two different things. Privacy is when you're both choosing to protect your relationship from unnecessary noise. Secrecy is when he's the only one keeping things quiet, and not to protect you, but to protect himself from getting exposed. Ask yourself this: how long have you been talking to him? Weeks, months, maybe even years? And yet nobody in his circle knows about you. Nobody's heard your name. You're not in any of his photos. He never posts about you. He never invites you around. He doesn't even talk about you like you exist. And when you bring it up, he gets defensive. He acts like you're pressuring him, like you're asking for too much. But let me make it plain. Wanting to be acknowledged is not asking for too much. That's the bare minimum of love and respect. If you're good enough to give your time, your body, your love, your support, then you're good enough to be seen. And if he can't do that, you're not the one he's proud of. You're the one he's hiding while he keeps his options open. You're the convenience. You're the secret he pulls out when it suits him, but never when it costs him. And sometimes the truth is even darker. Sometimes he's hiding you because he's got someone else, a wife, a girlfriend, a whole family. And you stuck in the background thinking this man just needs more time. No, he doesn't need more time. He needs more truth. And you need to stop allowing someone to erase your worth in the name of patience. Let me tell you something about real men. They introduce, they claim, they commit. They don't make excuses. They don't say, I'm just not ready for people to know yet. If he's not ready to tell anyone about you, then he's not ready to be in a relationship with you, and you don't need to be in a situation where you're giving everything to someone who's not even giving you a name when he talks to other people. You are not a secret. You are not a side note. You are not something to be ashamed of. And any man who makes you feel like you need to stay hidden in order to keep him is not your man. He's a manipulator. And that's just the truth. If you have to guess where you stand, if you have to hide your love, if you have to beg to be acknowledged, you are being used. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't live in the dark. So stop letting a man treat you like a secret and start remembering that you deserve to be seen, respected, and honored out loud every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. One of the biggest, clearest, and most painful signs that a man is using you is this right here. He only shows up when he needs something. Now listen to me, because this one is easy to miss when you've got feelings involved. It's easy to confuse inconsistency with mystery or selfishness with emotional damage. But let me be clear. When a man only contacts you, calls you, checks on you, or sees you when he wants something, that's not love. That's a transaction. That's someone clocking in and out of your life whenever it benefits them. This kind of man has mastered the art of timing. He knows exactly when to pop back in. He can sense when you're about to move on. He can feel when you're gaining strength, when your heart is healing, when you're starting to put yourself first again. And right when you're getting back on your feet, boom. Here he comes with that "hey stranger" text, that random phone call, that sudden interest. But don't let that confuse you. That's not fate, that's strategy. That's a man who knows how to pull just hard enough on your emotions to get what he wants. And it's not always money or physical intimacy. Sometimes it's attention. Sometimes it's validation. Sometimes it's just the comfort of knowing you're still there waiting for him. And the crazy part is, he'll make it look like he's interested again. He'll say sweet things. He'll act like he missed you. He'll apologize for the distance. But as soon as he gets what he came for, he vanishes again. Back to his own life, back to his own world, back to ignoring you like nothing ever happened. This kind of behavior is not a mistake. It's not confusion. It's not, he's just going through something. It's manipulation. He doesn't want to be with you, but he doesn't want to lose you either. He wants access to you without having to commit to you. He wants to dip in and out of your life like it's a convenience store. And baby, you are not a convenience. You are not a backup plan. You are not someone's emotional Band-Aid. If he only shows up when he's lonely, broke, bored, or in trouble, he's not choosing you, he's using you. Real love doesn't operate like that. A real man will call to check on you when he doesn't need anything. He'll want to be around you just because he enjoys your presence, not because he has a problem to fix or a void to fill. He'll ask about your day. He'll care about what you need, and he won't just disappear the moment he gets what he came for. Love doesn't vanish after it's fed. Love stays. But a user, he takes and takes until you're drained, and then he blames you for being too emotional or too needy when you ask for something in return. He convinces you to lower your standards in the name of being patient. He makes you think you're overreacting when you point out his patterns. But let me tell you this, your feelings are valid. If you notice someone only reaches out when it benefits them, believe that. Trust the pattern. Because people show you who they are, not through their words, but through their consistency. Stop entertaining people who treat you like a seasonal option. Stop making room in your heart for someone who only knocks when he's in need. Your time, your energy, your love, that's valuable. It's not just something to give away to anybody who shows up empty-handed and walks away full. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve consistency. You deserve someone who doesn't just come around when they need something, but someone who chooses to be there because they value you. And if he can't do that, it's time to stop answering the door when he knocks. Because love doesn't just visit, it stays.